First contact. The vastness of space had always beckoned humanity, a siren call that whispered of adventure and discovery. For centuries we gazed at the stars, wondering if we were alone. On July 17, 2047, we got our answer. Dr. Elena Rodriguez sat bolt upright in her chair at the SETI Institute, her eyes wide as she stared at the incoming data. The signal was unlike anything she'd ever seen, a clear, repetitive pattern emanating from somewhere near Alpha Centauri. Her hands shook as she reached for her phone. "Director Chen, you need to see this. Now." Within hours, observatories around the world confirmed it. The signal was artificial, and it was getting stronger. Humanity held its collective breath as linguists and cryptographers worked around the clock to decipher the message. After 3 days of feverish work, they cracked it. "Greetings, Earth, we come in peace." The words flashed across screens worldwide, sparking celebrations and panic in equal measure. As governments scrambled to formulate a response, a sleek, silvery craft appeared in orbit around the moon. The Zarkov had arrived. First contact was broadcast live to billions. The alien ambassador, a tall, insectoid creature with iridescent wings, stood before the United Nations General Assembly. Its multifaceted eyes scanned the room as a translator relayed its words. "We bring you gifts of knowledge and technology. Join us in the Galactic Covenant, and together we shall explore the cosmos." For months it seemed like a dream come true. The Zarkov shared medical breakthroughs that cured diseases once thought incurable. They provided plans for clean energy systems that could power entire cities. World leaders eagerly signed treaties, welcoming our new alien friends with open arms. But not everyone was convinced. Captain Sarah Chen of the newly formed Earth Defense Force couldn't shake her unease. Something about the Zarkov's generosity felt off. Why would an advanced species travel light years just to help a primitive planet like Earth? Her suspicions grew as she noticed small inconsistencies in the Zarkov's behavior. They were oddly interested in Earth's military capabilities and natural resources. Their questions about our population centers and infrastructure seemed just a little too pointed. Sarah voiced her concerns to her superiors, but was quickly shut down. "Don't rock the boat, Chen," they told her. "This is the greatest opportunity humanity has ever had." Undeterred, she began her own investigation, recruiting a small team of like-minded individuals. Dr. Rodriguez, the SETI scientist who first detected the signal, joined her cause. Together, they worked in secret, analyzing every scrap of data they could get their hands on. Their breakthrough came when they intercepted a transmission between the Zarkov ship and its homeworld. The message was heavily encrypted, but Elena's expertise in alien communications allowed her to decipher parts of it. Humans, defenseless, ripe for conquest. Sarah's blood ran cold as the true nature of the Zarkov's visit became clear. They weren't benevolent visitors, they were advanced scouts for an invasion force. With evidence in hand, Sarah and Elena raced to warn world leaders, but they were too late. As they approached the UN building in New York, the sky lit up with the fire of orbital bombardment. The Zarkov's mask of friendship fell away, revealing the conquerors beneath. Massive ships descended from the clouds, disgorging swarms of troops and war machines. Humanity's most advanced weapons seemed to barely scratch the alien armor. Cities around the globe fell in a matter of hours. As chaos engulfed the planet, Sarah found herself thrust into a leadership role. With most of the world's militaries in disarray, she rallied the survivors of the Earth Defense Force. They retreated to a hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains, one of the few places that had escaped the initial assault. "This isn't over," Sarah told her ragtag group of soldiers and civilians. "They may have caught us off guard, but humanity isn't going down without a fight. We faced extinction before, from ice ages, from plagues, from our own weapons. Each time, we've adapted and overcome. This is no different." She looked around the room, seeing fear in many eyes, but also determination. "The Zarkov think they know us, But they've underestimated what humans are capable of when our backs are against the wall. We're creative, we're resourceful, and we never give up. They may have won this battle, but the war for Earth has only just begun. As Sarah spoke, similar scenes played out in hidden pockets of resistance around the world. From the Amazon rainforest to the Australian outback, survivors gathered, sharing information and preparing for the long fight ahead. In orbit, the Zarkov commander surveyed the burning planet with satisfaction. Everything had gone according to plan. These primitive humans had been pathetically easy to fool, their leaders so eager for advanced technology that they never questioned the Zarkov's true motives. Prepare for Phase 2 of the colonization, the commander ordered. Begin resource extraction and processing of the human population. But even as the aliens celebrated their easy victory, the seeds of their eventual defeat were being sown. They had conquered the Earth, yes, but they had yet to truly face the full strength and ingenuity of humanity. In bunkers and caves, in hidden labs and makeshift command centers, humans began to plan their resistance. The Zarkov's technology was advanced, but it wasn't magic. It could be studied, reverse-engineered, and turned against them. Dr. Rodriguez pored over the alien transmissions they'd intercepted, searching for weaknesses. Former tech billionaires repurposed their companies to develop countermeasures in secret. Soldiers and civilians alike trained for guerrilla warfare, learning to strike fast and disappear into the shadows. As the sun set on humanity's darkest day, a spark of hope remained. The road ahead would be long and brutal, but Earth's children were far from beaten. The real war, a war that would shake the galaxy and redefine what it meant to be human, was about to begin. Sarah Chen stood at the entrance to the bunker, watching the distant flashes of alien weapons lighting up the night sky. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenges ahead. "All right, Zarkov," she whispered. "You wanted a fight. Let's show you what humanity can really do." The Zarkov invasion. The first month of the Zarkov occupation was a nightmare of epic proportions. Major cities around the globe lay in ruins, their once proud skylines reduced to twisted metal and concrete. Billions were dead or missing, with countless more struggling to survive in a world turned upside down. But even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity refused to go quietly into the night. In the Rocky Mountain bunker, Captain Sarah Chen worked tirelessly to coordinate the global resistance. The facility's advanced communications array, hardened against electromagnetic pulses, allowed her to contact other pockets of survivors around the world. "We need to buy time," Sarah told her war council, a diverse group of military personnel, scientists, and civilian leaders. "Every day we hold out is another day we can study their tech and find a weakness." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, hunched over a bank of computers, looked up with bloodshot eyes. "I think I found something. Their communication systems, they're not as secure as they think." She pulled up a holographic display showing a complex network of alien transmissions. "See these patterns? They're using a quantum encryption method, but there's a flaw in their implementation. Given enough time and computing power, we might be able to break it." Sarah nodded, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "That could be the edge we need. Keep working on it, Elena. What else have we got?" A grizzled general spoke up next. "We've had some success with hit-and-run tactics. The Zarkov are overconfident. They don't expect us to fight back. Small teams have managed to take out isolated patrols and even bring down a few of their smaller ships." "Good," Sarah said. "We need to keep them off balance, make them question their superiority. What about our tech development?" This time, it was a former Silicon Valley CEO who answered. "We're making progress on reverse engineering their energy weapons. The principles aren't that different from some of the experimental tech we were working on before the invasion. Give us a few more weeks, and we might have a prototype." As the meeting continued, reports flowed in from around the world. In the Amazon, indigenous tribes were using their intimate knowledge of the rainforest to ambush Zarkov resource extraction teams. In the ruins of Tokyo, a group of hackers had managed to briefly hijack an alien drone, causing it to crash into one of the invaders' own ships. Each small victory was celebrated, but everyone knew they were just delaying the inevitable. The Zarkov's technological advantage was too great, their numbers too vast. Humanity needed a game changer. That game changer came from an unexpected source. In a makeshift lab in the Australian outback, Dr. Imani Okoro had been studying a piece of Zarkov technology recovered from a downed scout ship. As she ran yet another series of tests, something strange happened. The alien device began to resonate with a nearby human-made quantum computer, creating an effect she'd never seen before. "My God," Imani whispered, her eyes wide with realization. "It's not just technology, it's biology too." She quickly shared her findings with the Global Resistance Network. The Zarkov, it seemed, had integrated organic components into their technology. Their ships, their weapons, even their communication systems, all were part machine, part living organism. This revelation opened up new avenues of attack. If their tech was partly biological, it might be vulnerable to things the Zarkov had never considered, like human diseases or targeted biochemical agents. Sarah immediately set teams to work exploring these possibilities. But even as hope grew, the situation on the ground continued to deteriorate. The Zarkov, realizing that humanity wasn't as defeated as they'd assumed, began to escalate their tactics. They deployed massive harvester ships, stripping entire regions of resources and processing captured humans en masse. The lucky ones were sent to labor camps. The fate of the others was too horrific to contemplate. In orbit, the alien commander watched the ongoing resistance with growing frustration. "These humans are more troublesome than anticipated," it chittered to its lieutenants. "Increase the pressure. Break their will to fight." New weapons were unleashed. Swarms of nanobots that could disassemble matter at the molecular level, gravity bombs that could flatten entire city blocks. The human death toll skyrocketed. But with every atrocity, with every display of alien brutality, the resolve of the survivors only grew stronger. Enemies became allies, as old national and ideological divides were set aside in the face of extinction. A Chinese scientist worked alongside an American soldier. A Russian hacker shared data with a Saudi engineer. Humanity, in all its beautiful diversity, was finally uniting. In the Rocky Mountain bunker, Sarah received a transmission from a resistance cell in Europe. They'd managed to capture a Zarkov officer and were attempting to interrogate it. The aliens' responses were mostly incomprehensible, but one phrase stood out: "The Concordat. Must not know." Sarah's brow furrowed. "The Concordat? Elena, have you heard anything about this in their transmissions?" The scientist shook her head. "No, but wait." She typed furiously, pulling up old data. "Here, there's a reference to something called the Galactic Concordat in some of their earliest messages. I thought it was just another name for their empire, but what if? What if the Zarkov aren't the only aliens out there?" Sarah finished the thought. "And what if these others don't know what's happening here?" The implications were staggering. If there were other alien civilizations, ones that might not approve of the Zarkov's actions, it could change everything. But how to contact them? As if in answer to her unspoken question, an alert flashed on one of the monitors. A Zarkov communication ship had been detected entering orbit, the largest they'd seen yet, likely capable of faster-than-light transmission to the alien homeworld. Sarah's mind raced. If they could capture that ship, they might be able to send a message to this Concordat, whatever it was. It was a long shot, but it might be their best chance at turning the tide. "All right, people," she addressed her team, determination etched on her face. "I think we just found our next mission. It's time to take the fight to the stars." As plans were hastily drawn up for the daring space raid, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. The past months had been the darkest in human history, filled with more death and suffering than anyone could have imagined. But through it all, the human spirit had refused to break. They had faced the abyss, stared into the face of extinction, and said, "Not today." Whatever came next, whether triumph or final defeat, humanity would face it together, standing tall against the storm of stars. Operation Starfall. The plan to capture the Zarkov communication ship was audacious, bordering on suicidal. But as Sarah Chen often said, desperate times call for desperate measures. Codenamed Operation Starfall, the mission would require precise coordination between ground teams and the few remaining human spacecraft hidden in underground bunkers around the world. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had made a breakthrough in cracking the Zarkov communication codes, allowing the resistance to eavesdrop on some of the aliens' transmissions. They learned that the massive ship would be dropping into low Earth orbit to boost its signal strength for a detailed report back to the Zarkov homeworld. "This is our window," Sarah told her team. "We'll have less than an hour to disable the ship's defenses, board it, and take control before they can alert their fleet." The core assault team consisted of Sarah herself, Elena, and a handful of the most skilled operatives from around the globe. They would launch from a hidden facility in the Andes Mountains, using a prototype stealth shuttle reverse-engineered from captured Zarkov tech. As the day of the operation dawned, tension filled the air. Everything hinged on this mission. If they failed, humanity might lose its last, best hope for survival. The stealth shuttle, christened the Horizon, lifted off under the cover of a violent thunderstorm. Its experimental cloaking technology, combined with the atmospheric disturbance, allowed it to slip past the Zarkov's orbital defenses undetected. As they approached the massive alien vessel, Sarah addressed her team. "Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every human on that planet below us, and for all the generations that will never be born if we fail. No pressure," she added with a grim smile. The Horizon latched onto the Zarkov ship's hull near what they believed to be an airlock. Using cutting tools adapted from the aliens' own technology, they began to burn through the outer layer. Suddenly, alarms blared. They'd been detected. "So much for the element of surprise," Sarah muttered. "Plan B, people. Hit them hard and fast." The team burst into the ship, immediately engaging the Zarkov security forces. The close quarters negated some of the aliens' technological advantages, allowing the humans' tactical training and sheer determination to even the odds. Elena split off from the main group, making her way to what they hoped was the ship's central computer core. Her mission was crucial: to upload a virus that would give them control of the vessel's systems. As Sarah and the others fought their way towards the bridge, they encountered fiercer and fiercer resistance. The Zarkov were clearly not accustomed to such bold tactics from their primitive adversaries. In one particularly heated exchange, Sarah found herself face to face with a Zarkov officer. The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or disdain. "Your species is doomed," it chittered in broken English. "Why do you persist in this futile struggle?" Sarah's response was a swift kick to what she hoped was a vulnerable spot, followed by a burst from her captured energy weapon. "Because we're human," she growled, "and we don't know how to quit." Meanwhile, on the ground, resistance cells around the world launched coordinated attacks on Zarkov installations. The aliens had grown complacent, never expecting such a massive, organized assault. Harvester ships were sabotaged, communication relays destroyed, and supply lines disrupted. It was chaos, and that chaos was spreading to the stars. Back on the communication ship, Elena finally reached the computer core. Her fingers flew over the alien interface, uploading the virus she'd spent months perfecting. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, with a series of clicks and whirs, the ship's systems came under human control. "I'm in." Elena's voice crackled over the comm. "Sarah, I locked down all compartments except the bridge. The ship is ours." With a final push, Sarah and her team breached the bridge. The Zarkov commander, a larger, more ornate version of its subordinates, stood defiantly as the humans entered. "You have lost," Sarah declared, her weapon trained on the alien. "Stand down." The commander's multifaceted eyes studied her for a long moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, it began to laugh, a strange, clicking sound that sent chills down their spines. "Foolish humans," it said. "You think this changes anything? Our fleet will be here soon. Your planet will burn, and your species will be nothing but a footnote in our glorious history." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Maybe. But today, we've proven that humanity is not to be underestimated, and we're not done fighting yet." With the ship under their control, the next phase of the plan could begin. Elena began broadcasting on all frequencies, sending out a message to the stars. "To any sentient species receiving this transmission, we are the human race of the planet Earth. We are under attack by a hostile force known as the Zarkov, in violation of galactic law. We appeal to the Galactic Concordat for assistance. The Zarkov are committing genocide. Please respond." The message repeated in every language and code I could think of, beaming out into the cosmos at faster-than-light speeds. For several tense minutes, there was no response. The team began to wonder if their desperate gamble had been in vain. Then suddenly, the ship's sensors lit up. A new vessel had appeared in orbit around Earth, larger than anything they'd ever seen, dwarfing even the Zarkov motherships. Its design was completely alien, unlike anything human or Zarkov. A transmission came through, in perfect, unaccented English. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are representatives of the Galactic Concordat. We have received your distress call and are here to investigate. Please stand by for further communication." As the enormous ship hung in the sky, visible even from the planet's surface, a wave of hope swept across humanity. The Zarkov invasion fleet, detected approaching the solar system, suddenly halted its advance. For the first time since the invasion began, the tide had turned. Humanity had reached out to the stars, and against all odds, the stars had answered. Sarah looked out at the blue marble of Earth below them, then back at the alien ship that represented a new chapter in human history. "Well," she said with a weary smile, "I guess the real adventure is just beginning." The battle for Earth was far from over, but humanity had proven its worth on the galactic stage. Whatever came next, they would face it together, standing tall among the stars. Diplomatic stars. The arrival of the Galactic Concordat changed everything. As the massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit, a tense standoff ensued between the new arrivals, the embattled human forces, and the suddenly hesitant Zarkov fleet. Sarah Chen, still aboard the captured Zarkov communication vessel, found herself thrust into the role of humanity's de facto ambassador. It was a position she never imagined holding, but like so many others in this war, she adapted quickly to the new reality. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of Earth," she transmitted to the Concordat ship. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you and thank you for responding to our distress call." There was a moment of silence before the reply came. "Captain Chen, this is Arbiter Zolak of the Galactic Concordat. We are surprised to find this situation. The Zarkov are a member species of our organization. Their unsanctioned invasion of a pre-FTL civilization is a severe violation of our laws." Sarah's heart raced. This was the opening they needed. "Arbiter, we have evidence of the Zarkov's actions here on Earth. They've committed countless atrocities, killed billions of our people. We request asylum and protection under Concordat law." "Understood, Captain," Jolek responded. "We will need to investigate these claims thoroughly. In the meantime, we are ordering all Zarkov forces to stand down and withdraw to a neutral position in your system's outer reaches." Over the next few hours, Sarah watched in awe as the Concordat ship effortlessly crawled the Zarkov fleet, herding them away from Earth like a sheepdog managing a flock. The speed and power displayed by the Concordat vessels made even the fearsome Zarkov ships look primitive in comparison. Back on Earth, the sudden departure of the Zarkov forces left a vacuum. In cities and countryside alike, stunned humans emerged from hiding, gazing up at the stars with a mixture of fear and hope. The Zarkov ground forces, cut off from their fleet, found themselves surrounded by increasingly bold resistance fighters. Sarah and her team were invited aboard the Concordat ship for formal talks. As they approached in their small shuttle, the sheer scale of the alien vessel became apparent. It was like a floating city in space, easily large enough to house millions. They were greeted by Arbiter Zolak, a being that defied easy description. It seemed to shimmer and shift, as if its very form was only partially in their dimension. Despite its alien nature, Sarah felt an odd sense of warmth and wisdom emanating from the creature. "Welcome, humans." Zolak's voice resonated in their minds rather than their ears. "We have much to discuss." Over the next several days, Sarah and her team presented Earth's case to the Concordat. They shared video evidence of the Zarkov atrocities, data on the invasion's devastation, and personal testimonies from survivors. The Concordat representatives, a diverse array of species from across the galaxy, listened with growing concern. "The Zarkov's actions are inexcusable," Zolak finally declared. "They will face severe sanctions for this breach of galactic law. But now we must discuss Earth's future." The negotiations that followed were intense. The Concordat offered advanced technology and aid to help Earth rebuild, but there were conditions. Humanity would need to unite under a single government to join the galactic community. They would have to agree to strict regulations on their development and use of advanced technologies, especially weaponry. "Your species has shown remarkable resilience and ingenuity," Zolak explained. "But you are also young and, forgive me, prone to violence. These measures are for your protection as much as the galaxy's." Sarah and her team debated long into the night. The offer was generous, but the loss of autonomy was a bitter pill to swallow. In the end, they realized they had little choice. Earth was in ruins, and without the Concordat's protection, they would be vulnerable to future attacks. "We accept your terms," Sarah finally told Zolak. "But we have conditions of our own. We want a seat at the Concordat's table. We want to learn to contribute. Humanity has much to offer the galaxy if given the chance." Zolak's form rippled in what might have been amusement. Bold, even now. "Very well, Captain Chen. Earth will have its voice in the Concordat." As news of the agreement spread across Earth, reactions were mixed. Many celebrated the end of the war and the promise of a brighter future among the stars. Others feared this new alien influence, seeing it as a more subtle form of conquest. The months that followed were a whirlwind of activity. Concordat ships arrived, bringing with them miraculous technologies to cleanse Earth's environment, heal the sick and injured, and begin rebuilding shattered cities. Human scientists worked alongside alien counterparts, leaping centuries ahead in their understanding of physics, biology, and a dozen other fields. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Cultural clashes were inevitable as humanity grappled with its new place in a much larger universe. Religious institutions struggled to incorporate the reality of alien life into their doctrines. Governments bickered over representation in the new unified Earth government. Through it all, Sarah found herself continually pulled into the role of mediator, both between different human factions and between humanity and the Concordat. It was exhausting, often frustrating work, but she could see the progress being made day by day. One evening, standing on the observation deck of the new orbital station that served as Earth's link to the galaxy, Sarah gazed down at the blue marble below. The scars of war were still visible, but new lights were appearing every day as cities were rebuilt and new settlements established. Dr. Elena Rodriguez joined her, a datapad in hand. "Latest reports from the surface," she said. "The new medical tech has reduced our death rate by 80%. Food production is up 300% thanks to the alien agricultural methods." And she paused, a smile breaking across her face. "We've just had our first successful faster-than-light test flight." Sarah felt a swell of pride. "We've come so far in such a short time." "We have," Elena agreed, "but we've got a long way to go. The galaxy's a big place, and not everyone out there is friendly." As if to underscore her point, a priority message flashed on the nearby console. Sarah's brow furrowed as she read it. "The Zarkov," she said grimly. They're appealing their sanctions, claiming we provoked them into invasion. Elena shook her head. Some things never change, I guess, even on a galactic scale. Sarah's expression hardened with determination. Then we'll just have to prove them wrong. Again, humanity's earned its place among the stars, and we're here to stay. As they turned back to the view of Earth, a shooting star streaked across the atmosphere. Once, humans had wished upon such sights. Now, they flew among them. The future was uncertain, filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. But whatever it held, humanity would face it together, reaching for the stars of hope and determination. The next chapter of human history was just beginning, and it would be written across the cosmos. Cosmic horizons. A decade had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Concordat. The scars of the Zarkov invasion were healing, both on the planet's surface and in the collective psyche of humanity. With access to advanced alien technologies and the vast knowledge banks of the Concordat, human civilization had undergone a renaissance unlike anything in its history. Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's primary representative to the Concordat, stood on the bridge of the HSS Odyssey, humanity's first true interstellar vessel. The ship represented the pinnacle of human engineering, melded with carefully regulated alien tech. As they prepared for their maiden voyage beyond the solar system, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of pride, mixed with trepidation. Final systems check complete, Ambassador Captain Yuki Tanaka reported. We're ready for the jump to FTL. Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the viewscreen showing the ethereal blue marble of Earth shrinking behind them. Take us out, Captain. Let's see what's out there. The Odyssey's engines hummed to life, and in a flash of light that seemed to bend reality itself, they were gone. Humanity's first steps into the broader galaxy had begun. Their mission was multifaceted: diplomatic outreach to other Concordat species, scientific exploration of uncharted systems, and perhaps most importantly, a show of humanity's readiness to take its place as a true galactic civilization. As they emerged from FTL in a distant star system, the crew was immediately reminded of the wonders and dangers that awaited them. The system's primary planet was a gas giant of breathtaking beauty, its swirling storms visible even from a great distance. But orbiting that giant was something decidedly unnatural, a massive space station of clearly alien design. Ambassador, Tanaka called out, "We're receiving a transmission from the station. It's Zarkov." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. Despite the Concordat's sanctions, the Zarkov remained a powerful force in the galaxy. This encounter could quickly turn hostile. "Open a channel," Sarah ordered, straightening her uniform. The viewscreen flickered to life, revealing the insectoid features of a Zarkov commander. "Greetings, human vessel," the alien's voice chittered through the translator. "You are trespassing in Zarkov space. Explain your presence immediately." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady. "This is Ambassador Sarah Chen of Earth. We are on a sanctioned exploratory mission under Concordat authority. Our star charts show this as unclaimed space." The Zarkov commander's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or irritation. "Your information is outdated, human. This system was granted to us as compensation for the misunderstanding on your world." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Misunderstanding? You invaded our planet and slaughtered billions." "Ancient history," the Zarkov dismissed. "The Concordat has made its ruling. We suggest you leave this system immediately." As the transmission cut off, the bridge erupted into tense discussion. This unexpected encounter highlighted the complex political landscape humanity now navigated. The galaxy, they were learning, was not the utopia of cooperation the Concordat sometimes portrayed it as. Over the following months, the Odyssey's journey revealed both the wonders and harsh realities of life among the stars. They made first contact with several new species, each encounter a delicate dance of diplomacy and cultural exchange. They charted new worlds, some breathtakingly beautiful, others harsh and forbidding. But underlying it all was a growing sense of unease. Reports from Earth spoke of increasing tension with the Concordat. Many humans chafed under the restrictions placed on their technological development, arguing that it left them vulnerable in a dangerous galaxy. The Zarkov, meanwhile, seemed to be pushing the boundaries of their sanctions, their ships appearing with increasing frequency near human-claimed systems. Things came to a head when the Odyssey received an urgent transmission from Earth. A Zarkov fleet had been detected on the edge of the solar system, claiming to be on a routine patrol. The Concordat seemed hesitant to intervene, citing complex jurisdictional issues. "We need to return home," Sarah declared. "Now." The journey back to Earth was tense, with the crew acutely aware that they might be flying into another war. As they dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the solar system, they were greeted by a sight that made their hearts sink. The Zarkov fleet, significantly larger than reported, was engaged in a standoff with Earth's defensive forces. "This is Ambassador Chen to all Earth forces," Sarah broadcast. "Stand down. We'll handle this diplomatically."